Welcome back to Proper Madness. If you hear some very strange squeaks in the background, or panting, or growls, my co host that I've never had before is here because he's feeling very clingy today. And I'm sure you saw a glimpse of him before we started. I'm sure you've seen this episode title, and it says, "You're a 10 that's acting like a 2." Well, I mean it. You are. You're a 10 that's acting like a 2. Now, before I even get started on what that means and how that came about, I'll give you a little bit of history. This is something that my sister would say to me very often when I was younger. She would always tell me that I was a 10 acting like a 2. Because when I first started working out back in 2013, I talked about that on the last episode. I had lost so much weight from being like, oh my god, I lost at least 30 pounds. I was a little heavier, and on a small fry like me, that shows up. And even though I had lost all this weight and I looked really good, I didn't feel confident in myself at all. I was still acting like the girl who was overweight. I was still acting like the girl who was bullied. I was still acting like the girl who just didn't feel good about herself. And so when my sister and I would like go out when we were younger and like go to bars and stuff, and she would say things like, "Dude, you gotta learn to be more confident about yourself. Look at you. You lost weight. You look good, whatever." And I went, "Yeah, but I don't feel good about myself." I was very quiet. I was very soft spoken. I was incredibly introverted. I mean, like, social anxiety was bad. The only time I really truly ever had confidence was when I was drinking, which is obviously, you know, given my track record, or if I was given compliments and validation, then I would feel good about myself, which that's always fleeting. That always kind of comes and goes. And so my confidence never came from how I felt about myself. It always came from what I physically looked like. And that carried on for a little bit. Like, I'd date people who only wanted something very surface level because I was needing and craving validation for what I looked like physically. And my sister time she would just keep saying it to me. And then all of a sudden one day, and she would say things like, the way that I walk, like I'd kind of hunch, I'd try to hide. I wasn't speaking and projecting my voice because I didn't feel confident enough in myself. I was always chasing after attention because I wanted the validation. And so eventually one day it dawned on me that if I keep allowing my confidence to be stemmed off of what I look like, what my job is like, how many followers I have, or how much money I'm making, I'm never truly actually going to feel confident. And I'm going to keep portraying the value of pick me energy, of please see me, please look at me, which is behaving like a 2. If you think about it, right, there's this infamous little example in sales and marketing, which I've been studying up on again recently, with a water bottle. You have two water bottles that look identical right in front of you. One is $12, the other is 50. By default, your brain's going to think that the one that has $50 on it is probably better water. You may think it's ridiculous that it's $50, but you might go, "Damn, that's probably that's some expensive water. Where's that from?" The $12 water bottle, you're going to go, "Okay, yeah, that's affordable. I could do that." But how you treat both of those is based off of the value that they're presenting themselves to be. So think of yourself as something that has value. If you know and respect your own value, your own worth, who you are, and what you've done because of what you've cultivated from the inside, that is how the world will treat you. If you treat yourself like you're a 2, people are going to treat you like a 2. If you can treat yourself like you're a 10, people are going to treat you like a 10. Now, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal saying I'm a 10. That's not what this is about. This is about the energy that we embody because of what we think and believe about ourselves, because of how we feel about ourselves. If you're trying so hard to look perfect, to look the part, to look financially stable, to look like you have a lot of friends, to look like you have the perfect relationship, well, and your confidence is based off of all these external things around you. What is going to happen to your confidence when all of that leaves? Gee, I wonder. If your confidence is based off of what's outside of you, it's just going to go up and down and up and down. And you're going to wonder why you feel good about yourself one day and why you feel like crap about yourself the next day. Because it's based off of what's outside of you, not what's inside. So if your confidence is always coming from that, no, I don't want to play. Sir? Sir, I need you to sit down, dude. Oh my God. I pet him for 2 seconds and then he thought I wanted to play and I don't want to play. Anyways, so this whole idea of your 10 acting like a 2, so this whole idea of your 10 acting like a 2 is your energy. Your energy will speak when you enter a room. Your energy will speak before you have a conversation. If you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling low, if you're overthinking about something, people can pick up on it and that's how they'll treat you, right? Because of how you're coming across. That's how you're being perceived. Now, when you're confident about yourself and you believe in yourself and it comes from you investing in yourself in all the ways that you know you need to, then your confidence and your self-trust will be unshakable and you won't be able to let anything outside of you shake that. Because even if those things do leave, even if those things do no longer come, because all the material things outside of you are fleeting. I've been studying Sikhism a little bit more, and in the Guru Granth Sahib, which is like kind of like our Bible or like the biblical text, there's like a bunch of volumes. In that, there's something called Maya. Maya is our attachments to everything that is outside of us, to the flesh, to finances, to greed, to all the things. And when we allow that to dictate our connection with ourselves, which in turn is connection to God, that connection is going to be so hot and cold that you're always going to be attracting money that comes and goes, love that comes and goes, stability that comes and goes. But if that stability is sacred and grounded in yourself, grounded in all the investments that you're putting into yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Physically, yes, but not because of what you look like, but because of how you want to feel. And you're cultivating that wealth from within. Then you're always going to be in a grounded, secure, stable place within yourself. Because it always starts with you first. What you attract always starts with how you see yourself, what you feel about yourself, and how you perceive yourself to be. The way that I really got like a clear picture of how this was working in my life and how I was showing up was through body language. And that I learned through dance. So 2 years ago when I started dance, I didn't have enough confidence in my body and I was a little awkward and I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't believe in myself. So naturally, the way that I would move and the way that I would dance was rigid, awkward, a little strange, kind of hunched over. The more confidence I gained in investing in myself in that way, in practicing and showing up for myself and encouraging myself to push myself to do the things that I know I really didn't want to do, but that I knew would make me good at what I want to be good at, that is how confidence was cultivated from within with dance. Then I started noticing my body language when I was dancing, and it's kind of interesting because I still see this now. When I go take a dance class that's all choreography based and I don't know what the heck is going on with choreography, like it might be really fast and I'm like, girl, I don't know what the hell is happening. I'm just gonna do my own thing. And then I go to my freestyle dance, My freestyle always looks better because I'm confident in my moves. I'm confident in what I already know and what I know I'm good at. I'm confident in my own skin and in my body. Therefore, the way that I move is more confident, more grounded, more secure, a little sexy. And that translates to being more attractive and confident because that's how I feel about myself. Do what feels good, not what looks good, is something I still kind of agree with, right? When we do what feels good, and I mean what feels good, like what feels good in your body, what you're confident in doing, that innately always looks good. But if you're so focused on how does this look, I want this to look good, it's not going to come across how you want it to come across. That can be the same for anything, right? When we show up in dating, if you're nervous on a first date, if you're insecure about yourself, if you're not feeling good about yourself because you know you really haven't been putting in the time and effort into investing into yourself and into your confidence and your self belief, then when you show up on that date, you're going to go, oh my God, I hope they like me. And then that in turn looks very insecure. But if you've been investing in yourself and you're confident in yourself and you know who you are and you show up on the date, all of a sudden you're going, I know I like me. I want to figure out if I like them. That's a very different energy, and in turn, it's highly, highly attractive. And that's how my sister was referring to me acting like a 2 when I was a 10. Is I would come across like, oh my God, I hope people like me. I hope they pick me. I hope they choose me. That's me acting like a 2. That's not me acting like a 10. 10 is high value. A 10 is high value. A 10 is someone who knows their worth. A 10 is someone who's very attractive because they're confident in themselves. And they don't let what people say or their environment shake who they are. They continue on. They keep showing up. And they're embodied. Now, when I say embodied, because I've said it a lot in the last few episodes, embodiment is grounded, secure, and your energy doesn't feel like it's outside of you and like you're chasing. It feels very pulled in and like you're grounded and you're rooted and you're here. That is embodiment. Embodiment is cultivated also from within. When your confidence is built from who you are and how you're investing in yourself daily, then you start to develop more trust with yourself because you're keeping the promises you're making to you for you. And then you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you're confident in yourself. And when you're confident in yourself, you trust yourself. And then your nervous system is a little bit more regulated. And when your nervous system is regulated, then your intuition is more clear. And when your intuition is clear, guess what? That's it. I don't have a follow through with that. But all these things kind of go hand in hand. And so when we're trying to embody the frequency of what we want and what we desire in life, we have to take confident, grounded, intuitive, clear action towards the things that we want. That only comes from if you're confident in yourself and if your nervous system is regulated, because a lot of the times what we think is our intuition is actually our trauma. If you are confident in yourself and you're regulated and you trust yourself, then when the things that you're desiring come into your life, you will have the confidence to be able to see it clearly and to receive it. We only self sabotage our blessings and what we attract when we don't feel good about ourselves and we feel unworthy. So, the more you can work on your confidence being something you embody, and the more you present yourself like a 10 and not a 2, the more magnetic you're going to be naturally because you're not embodying this like high, high, low, low energy of I'm confident when I feel good and I'm not confident when I don't feel good. You can still be confident in yourself and not have a good day. Because when you have confidence, and you have trust in yourself, when stuff around you happens that you don't want to happen or that is throwing your life upside down, you at least have this self-trust and confidence to know that you're going to make it through and that you know it's not permanent and that you know what you're worthy of is happening and is going to happen. Start honoring yourself and who you are. Start embodying who you are. Start believing in yourself and start investing in yourself. A few weeks ago, I really got honest with myself and I went, you know what? I'm really confident in myself mentally, emotionally, and intuitively. But physically, I was starting to feel a little insecure and I got honest with myself. That's part of it. Confidence is having honesty with yourself, not critiquing yourself, not putting yourself down, but gently being honest with yourself. I went, am I snacking a little too much? Is my training really that on point lately? Have I really been moving my body as much as I used to? And so I kind of took a good hard look and I was like, I think it's time to dial it back in. In doing that, in the last couple weeks, I feel a lot more confident about myself physically. I got no clue what the hell I look like physically anymore, but I'm not sitting there nitpicking everything that I feel is wrong about myself. I'm stopping and going, well, how do I feel about myself now that I'm eating cleaner, now that I'm working out way more regularly, now that I'm taking walks every day, now that I'm doing martial arts, all the things. And so once you do that, it builds more confidence within yourself to continue to invest in yourself because you feel good about yourself, So, but I felt like this was a very necessary episode to make because it's something that I very recently have kind of been working through and battling through. And I was, as we know, I've been going back to therapy. I talked to my therapist recently and I told her, you know what? I've noticed this thing where when I feel insecure in some way in my life, it reflects in every other aspect because then I'm kind of chasing validation because I don't feel good about something else. And so once I made an active decision to invest in myself and to start pouring into myself, very quickly, I stopped being in this chase energy, in this performative energy, and all of a sudden, I felt a little bit more grounded. I felt more clear. I felt more attuned to my own emotions. And so I wasn't trying to, be the pick me anymore. And I had more confidence in myself because I was investing in myself. Don't be a 10 that's acting like a 2. All of us need to embody that. We all deserve to be confident. We all deserve to have the things that we want in life. But it doesn't happen if you don't believe in yourself and you don't start investing in yourself first. So do that. And then go take some aligned action. And then come back to me and tell me what happened. Thank you for listening to this episode. A little bit of a shorter one. I am a little drained today and kind of tired. Not for any particular reasons, just one of those days. But we move, we try, we keep going. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening and watching to this on Spotify, please follow and rate because it pushes it out to more people. And if you're listening to this anywhere else, please follow, subscribe, I can't speak. Follow, subscribe, all the things. And I will see you on the next one. So just believe in yourself. Finger gun. Because I'm tired and I don't know how else to end this podcast. Okay, bye. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube or whatever streaming platform you happen to be listening to this on, I encourage you to follow, like, subscribe, and rate this so that it pushes it out to whoever else might need it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you ever want to chat more about anything that this podcast is about, you know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and good old TikTok. And be sure to stay tuned for my Tea Time with Sabby episodes.